Welcome to 3Oul 3Isters. My name is Jamila Oluka and you're watching us here live on UBC TV, Inspiring Uganda. It's such a beautiful day and I want first of all to thank all the viewers who keep watching 3Oul 3Isters. I know you've been touched in one way or the other, and I believe that when you watch this show, you will not remain the same. I want to remind you that this show runs every Wednesday, 9 p.m. and I repeat on Friday, 11 a.m. And also you can get us on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, still 3Oul 3Isters for the updates. If you have for some reason missed any episode here, you can get a full episode on our YouTube channel, still 3Oul 3Isters. Today, I have a lady all the way. You know, people say we people from the East are wise, and that's where the wise men came from. So today we have in studio Alaso, and Alaso has a very beautiful story. As I always tell you, when we bring these ladies here, every lady comes with a different story, and their stories touch and impact and inspire, and also it's fun because we get to know who is Alaso beyond the person you see right now. As she's seated here now, you can't know who Alaso is, but behind every smile there is triumph, there is growth, there is pain, there are challenges. So I'll welcome Alaso. Alaso, you're most welcome to 3Oul 3Isters.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
It's been a long wait.
Quite a long one, but yeah, finally we are here.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to have you on the show. And as we delve in the show, I just want to take you back.
Okay.
Explain to us, who is Alaso? Where is Alaso from? I just said you are from the East, but you know East is a bit wide and big, so we can't tell even if you are from Teso, which part of Teso, where did you grow up from? Tell us a little bit of your childhood.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be on the show. Thank you for hosting me. My name is Patience Alaso. I am an Itesot by tribe, and that is what it means to come from the East. But I'm from Kapelebyong. That is where my mom comes from. But I'm also from Mukura at the same time, Ngora district, from a small village called Pun. That's where my late dad, comes from. So growing up as a child, I didn't really know where I would end up, but here I am today. So the Alaso you're talking to currently is an entrepreneurship mentor and coach. I work with Junior Achievement Uganda. I am also a leader. I am a public speaker with Toastmasters International. But above all, I advocate for the Sustainable Development Goals because I believe in sustainability. And me coming here is one way of me sharing a story that can transform and change lives. So dating back on how I grew up, I was born and raised in Kampala. I've been very rare when it comes to my home district. I would only go there once in a while, maybe for a holiday. You're done with exams and you want to go back home and just check on relatives, grandparents, some childhood friends. So for me, what I've known as home growing up has been Kampala, the streets of Kampala. So, yes.
Okay, now you said you grew up from Kampala and you used to, so you are the kids who used to go to the village and tantalize us. You know, I'm also from Teso.
Yes.
You would come say, oh, these are mangoes. They grow up in the tree. I know most kids who were in Kampala could not see like mangoes. I personally thought when I was a child, when I was in Kampala, that there was a tree of chapati.
Oh.
Because I love chapati and beans. So every time I would tell my mom would say, but you know, there's no money. We're like, but there is a tree of chapati. So because coming from the village, I know everything you get from that tree. So when I transited to the city, I thought, how come chapati is so nice? It's like a mango, but it doesn't have a tree. So now, you were in Kampala. Which schools did you go to in Kampala, in your primary?
Okay, I think even before I talk about which schools I went to, I would love to say that growing up, our mom always instilled the Itesot culture within us. So we speak the language, we try to transact in different conversations through the same language. And for me, because we used to frequently be in the village, this wasn't new. We would go to the village, behave like all the village children. At one point, we took porridge with those leaves, okay? I was always very exciting to just dive deep.
Akitonwe miebe.
Akitonwe miebe, exactly. So for me, the culture is always exciting because that is where our roots are. But within Kampala, I would love to share my story, which is a story of tranquility and perseverance. So growing up in my primary, I went to St. Henry's Muyenga Primary School, and that is where I studied from my nursery to my P7. Before, I had gone to schools like Tara Primary School, but St. Henry's Muyenga is where I studied for all my lower primary. And from there, I went on to Kololo Senior Secondary School. That is where I studied my O and A level.
Wow.
So the entire time I was in Kololo, I had a chance of going to another school. But because of my aspirations of leadership, I knew that staying in this very school where I have been known would give me a much bigger standing. And so in my HSC, I decided to rally and contest for speakerhood. That is under UNSA, the Uganda National Student Association.
UNSA, yeah.
Yes, so I went on, I contested, and lo and behold, I became the speaker at Kololo Senior Secondary School.
Wow. You know, we've had a teacher from Kololo. It looks like, you know, I always pass there and I've never even entered inside the school, but I see the students there, and there's quite a lot, like so many people I've met who have said, I passed through Kololo and you are somewhere. So it looks like there's a lot of installation of political aspirations, nurturing, and also mental growth.
Yes.
At Kololo.
Yes.
So when you finished Kololo, where did you go to? Because I know that when people are in secondary, that's when they develop these ambitions, and also you see by the time a child reaches senior 5, senior 6, you as a parent or as a lead or someone who has passed through that, you can have an idea of what they want to be. So by the time you left Kololo SS senior 6, where did you go to?
Kololo SS really did groom me, and I would like to highlight why that spirit is that way. We come from a background, by we I mean Kololians, of lack, of limitations, of unprivileged circumstances, and that is why you see most of our young people from Kololo SS have that endearing spirit, a spirit that doesn't give up. And for me, Kololo groomed me into what I later became or turned into. My leadership aspirations that began there continued with me in university. But before I joined university, I had lost all hope, because I was supposed to join university at around the time when COVID came through. But I did not have the tuition for university, and at one point I almost gave up. But I kept on pushing. I got half bursary from the Betty Kamia Foundation, but before I could take it on, I then got a full scholarship. And that is how I found myself at Makerere University Business School. So I joined Makerere University Business School, and I was hyped up because what I always knew was I am at one point going to be the speaker of this country, okay? Just like we see our current speaker, Anita, okay? I always knew, because given my leadership, everyone was telling me, our speaker, you're going to be a speaker. So when I entered Makerere University Business School, that was the one thing that was on my mind. How do I become speaker of this institution? So from there, I started moving aggressively to see how I can make that dream come true. So that is how I ended up in Makerere University Business School.
As the speaker?
No. That is another whole journey. I don't know if I can take us into that journey.
Because we want to know. Because you know, when someone goes to a place with all this energy,
yes,
and they're like, you know, I have to. We want to know, because you've already hyped me up.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, what happened? So I want to know what really happened.
Yes.
And maybe even people who are watching want to know.
They might be wanting to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So when I joined Makerere University Business School, that was the aim, because for me, speaking is a platform of communication, and it is a platform of empowering others. And In university structures, how you become speaker is you go through phases. You need to be a guild representative, counselor, and go on. So while pursuing my bachelor's degree in business administration, I decided that, you know what, the first thing is for me to be a class representative. And so that is how my journey began. I went on, I contested for class representative, though I was a class representative for one of the smallest afternoon classes that had very few individuals. And that was a disadvantage because I needed to use that platform to be elected as GRC. So I was class representative, I contested for my first time GRC, and it was a massive fail because my opponent won me or defeated me, and it was a range of 290 something votes.
That's big.
And as a young lady, I wondered if I should try my luck in my second year. And yes, I went in there because I am a very resilient person who never takes no for an answer. I went in for my second term and tried to contest again, and this time around I had gained ground and momentum. The whole class of over 1,000 people knew me because of my leadership. That was my pivotal strength, that they knew I could be relied on, they knew I could get things done, they knew my classes actually started gaining many people coming through because we would never miss on lectures, and that was my brand. So I contest again, and this time around it was supposed to be a sure deal. And this man again won me by 19 votes. At this point, I stood back. I'm like, wait, what am I not doing right? Okay. So my journey has been faced with a lot of fails here and there. And so it's at that moment I decided to test other waters. I went on, I became speaker for one of our associations for the school, that is a Business Administration Students Association. And I decided that I need to now pursue leadership on this angle. But I also became president of presidents for various academic associations just to advance the interest of our students. But then this time around, I thought I could test the higher waters of guild president, Makerere University Business School. And that is where I went on to contest under the NRM primaries for the flag of NRM. But in the flags as well, I came second. So I opted to be a running mate or the PA of the person that had gotten the NRM flag. And that is how my leadership has been. So I want to say that I did not become the speaker, guild speaker, but my skills have improved. I have gone on ahead to serve in much bigger positions, and that is what defines me today.
So now you've told us about the school part.
Yes.
You mentioned something that I want you to delve into so much. You said that when you were going to join university, you had challenges,
Yes,
of tuition. Tell us, what was it like? Like, maybe you can tell us a brief of what was happening.
Okay.
Because you haven't told us much about home. Like, was it some changes in life? What really happened? You can take us through.
Okay.
Because you were in Kampala.
Yes, I was in Kampala. So I was raised by a single mother. Unfortunately, I don't even remember how my dad looks like because he died when I think I was 1 year old. And so the memories of him are fuzzy. So we are four, but I grew up in a home of very many young people because my mom was running an organization that supports these young people and connects them to different sponsors. And you would think that because I am her daughter, I should automatically have sponsorship, right?
Yes.
But for some reason, all these other kids would get sponsorship and I didn't. Because apparently with the organization, your children cannot, but all the others could get. So while others were having sponsorships, my siblings as well had sponsors from different parts of the world, but I did not. So my mom had to figure out how she would educate me. So I was one of those children that faced it rough, because for sometimes I would be chased away from school with no tuition, and that is why during my high school, my mom opted for a government school, which is Kololo Senior Secondary School, because at that point, that's the only option she had. And she struggled all through. You know how mothers never give up. She would do a lot of things. Today she's working with this organization. Tomorrow she has started this business. Today she's investing in something just to educate me. And that is how I was able to go through high school with her support. But it's at that moment that the dawn of university struck me, and the question was, how do I go to school? And then now that comes down to the relationships we build and the partnerships we engage with. I am a church minister, and I want to thank my church because that is how I was able to get sponsorship. Wow. As a minister, church came through for me, and church was able to stand in for me and sponsor my entire education throughout school. So that period of time was very devastating, because it's around that time, as I mentioned earlier, that COVID came in, and I had to wait again without joining university. So I was in a place of, will I further my dreams? Will I be the speaker I want to be? Will I change the background of my family? How will I even be able to support this woman, this pillar of mine who has supported me all through? So it was a period of devastation. I lost hope, honestly speaking. It's at that moment I now started thinking of, okay, what can I do? Because at one point I worked as a receptionist for some furniture company during my vacation, and the questions were, what am I going to be? Well, how am I going to change this? And I might not have mentioned, but I grew up from one of Uganda's largest slums, that is Namuwongo. Namuwongo is one of our largest slums, and for someone who has grown up from there, and for you to emerge victorious is not a story that is common. Yeah. Because many of our young people in those slums, the girls, the cases of school dropout, early pregnancies.
There's quite a lot.
There's quite a lot.
So you used to walk from Namongo up to Kololo?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
There are days I would walk from Namongo up to Kololo, walking without transport. These are rainy seasons, so you reach, you're all drenched, your shoes are wet, your stockings are already dirty, and the books, I had my bag, so my books, but those instances would be there because you can't be late, you must reach on time. Yeah. So I had that story, I had to walk. Sometimes you skip on breakfast because you have a limited budget. So for me, my environment would not allow me to become the lady that I am today, given everything that was happening.
So I like the part of the leadership, the school. Now, take us through Alaso at home. What are some of those, some of the things, share with us about 2 things that you remember that were the worst, and then you tell us also the 2 things that you enjoyed most about your childhood.
My childhood is predominantly a religious kind of childhood, and it is church. So growing up, I am the last born at home. I am the last born. So I must say I got some of the privileges, and I stayed more frequently with my mom while my other siblings were in boarding. My memories are, I won't say very strict or serious, but they were joyful memories. They were happy memories. I am a happy person. I am a happy child. And I attribute this to how I have been groomed to believe that I can do anything that I want and anything that I set my mind on. So my memories are happy. All I can look back at is me playing and enjoying life. But in the early years of my life, for me, leadership was really groomed in. Because growing up, I had to learn practically that I needed to get things done by myself. If I needed anything, that I could rely on myself. So for me, my growing up has been one that is filled of courage and the element of being a go-getter. So my memories are just let's do this. Okay, what's up to be done? Let's do this. Let's get it done.
I want to take you. Let me just give you a picture. You picture yourself maybe Alaso at 12 years, maybe primary.
Yes, primary.
Primary vacation.
Yes.
In the village. Just share with me 2 things, because I know that all of us have those 2 things that we never forget.
Yes.
Of our childhood.
Yes.
I remember for me one time, because they brought us from the village, and the first movies we watched were for Jack Chan. And at a certain point I thought that I was a ninja. I actually jumped and injured my leg. So if you asked me at any point, I will remember, because I was in P1 coming from the village and watching these movies, and I was like, yes, I'm Jack Chan, yeah! And I injured my leg. So yes. I also want you to share with us some of those things, because you were in Kampala. I know very well what it means in Teso when you go to the village. So share with us some of two memories you remember that you'll even tell your grandchildren, and what if you were to write a book now, you'll say these are some of the things that I remember.
Yes. So about my childhood, I remember it was a day I will never forget. That is, if I was asked, what is that one day you will never forget? Yes. We had traveled to the village, and this day marks that day I started staying away from cows. I have some bit of trauma for cows. So we were moving, we were now advancing towards the deeper ends of the village, and we decided to walk the entire journey. I had my Kampala beautiful shoes on, and we were walking. So we're walking, we come and we interface with some cows. I see cows. But this cow was a different kind of cow. Because for some reason, the cow looked at me and never stopped looking. So I look at the cow again, and there's no herdsman around it. From nowhere, the cow starts chasing me. I'm like, what did I just do right now? So I start running, the cow is chasing after me. I'm like, what is happening? It's at that moment that my shoes started having issues. In fact, on that day, I left my sandal behind. The shoe stayed behind. In as much as I wanted to grab it and run with it, the cow would not let me. So I took off, and that is how I missed my shoe. And it is one of the days that I will really always remember about the village.
Wow, interesting. And this was in Mukura or Kapelebiong?
It was in Kapelebiong.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And what is the other thing?
The other thing, I think that is like the most prominent thing for me. Another prominent thing was how we had to move a long distance to go to the garden, okay? And it was the sunny season, the dry season, and the ground was extremely hot, okay? You have to walk a long distance. You can't eat anything until you're done with the digging. I remember we were going to harvest nuts. I had to walk. I don't know what had happened to my sandals. I walked the entire journey barefoot, but it was so hot. And yes, I was like,
this life.
When are we going back to Kampala? But I love the village. It's just that time when you just sit together. Another memory is of, you know how we love to bury our potatoes in the ground?
Yes, emukaru.
Emukaru. Oh, I loved it. Those are one of the things I would do every night. Make sure we have put emukaru inside.
You'd first go and look for the ground which is dry, and then
dry. Dig it, put in the fire, put in the potatoes, cover it.
Wow. I think every Itesot who goes to the village during the potato season loves emukaru. I love emukaru because I even tell my brother to bring for me from the village. There is always a story behind everyone. So what is that moment that you cannot forget, that every time you think about it, it draws you back? Like something that you think should not happen to anybody else?
For me, when I look back, I think what no one should ever take lightly is the situations they go through. They always say the situations you go through either build you or break you. So for me, looking back, I do not regret everything I've had to go through, but rather every situation has built me to who I am today. I appreciate the slum experience where I grew up and where I am no longer, because that has helped me appreciate the tough times and embrace the beautiful times. Those situations are the ones that build us. So be very proud of the luck, the misfortunes, because these are supposed to show you that at the end of the day there is light at the end of the tunnel. So for me, the advice I would give any young person out there that is looking up to anyone, or you're looking up to any political journey, or you are pursuing a particular career, just embrace those moments, because it is not always going to be dark. It is not always going to be gloomy. There is always light. Let those situations be the reason why you keep on fighting, why you keep on pursuing, and also know that you are not the only one going through that situation. But that doesn't mean you should remain in that situation. So it's not a pity party. It's not a pity party. Don't sit and pity yourself. Oh, I am this. Oh, I gave birth when I was 10 years or even 16. Oh, I am an orphan. No. The story should be that I am an orphan who has gone on ahead to empower other people, build a legacy for myself, and empower those around me. So that's the story we all want to hear.
Interesting. It's very interesting to talk to a leader. You know, one thing I know about leaders, they're always consistent, precise, and to the point. And there's a way you package your information that is very easy to understand. So with that, I want us to go for a break, but we shall be right back. But before we go for a break, I want to remind you that the show runs every Wednesday, 9 p.m., and I repeat on Friday, 11 a.m. And also you can get us on YouTube, Super Soul Sisters, all the episodes. You can see our updates on our TikTok, still Super Soul Sisters, and also on Twitter. Let's go for a break. We shall be right back. Welcome back to Super Soul Sisters. My name is Jamila Oluka, and you're still watching us here on UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. I'm here with Alaso. Alaso has been so interesting. She has gone through all those things that some people may have not gone through it, but for her, I really like her story, because despite the struggles, the challenges, she's here, speaking very well. I pray she becomes the speaker in future, because those are her aspirations. So we are now in the second version of Alaso.
Yes, Alaso.
You know the former Alaso?
I do.
Yes, she's my friend. One time I was in a party and she's like, wow, you're just a good, you talk so well. And yes. I'm like, I've always admired you. I used to watch you like on TV, and she's like, yeah, and she's very. So is it about the name or what? Because you are the third Alaso I have met, and you all have this energy.
People have always been asking me, are you Alice's daughter? I mean, whenever they call my name, the first thing that comes to their head is Alice Alaso, Alice Alaso. So they always confuse me for that. I want to believe that in as much as we all share the same characteristics, even the name, for me it's my mom, really, because she named me Alaso. And for me, Alaso means a very hardworking woman. And I have seen that in her, and it's within my genes. So it is my mom. Though thank you, Alice Alaso, for the beautiful brand you built.
So now, okay, a quick one. Are you thinking of contesting for membership of parliament? Because, you know, the name is talking a lot.
Yes. I am thinking about it, so don't be surprised if in 2026 you see me somewhere, somehow. Yes, I definitely am, but it's not because Alice has been there, but for me it's because I love to spearhead change, and change is best spearhead if we actively get involved. So it's not about talking about it, but doing something about it.
Walking the talk.
Yeah, walking the talk. So don't be surprised if you see me.
Okay,
there.
Away from that, now I want you to tell us the Bridget that Kololese has groomed, the Bridget that the primary school groomed, the Bridget that the slums of, one of the slums of Kampala, of Uganda have groomed. What is Alaso doing now? And where does Alaso see herself in 5 years from now?
Okay, so Alaso is an entrepreneurship mentor and coach, as I earlier said, and I'm able to do this with the organization I work with, which is Junior Achievement Uganda. We are an international NGO that's focused on grooming young people, inspiring them, and preparing them to succeed within the various economies they might find themselves in. So we train them in entrepreneurship, financial literacy, and work readiness. So these are young people, those in primary, those in high school, those in university, those in vocational institutes, even those in slums, because we are looking at an equal availability of opportunities for the young people. So we have developed various programs to fit their various age ranges. Because now for the primary school, we have a program called the Chaching Financial Literacy Program, where we teach them how to earn self.
What is that again?
Chaching.
Chaching.
Yes, it's a sound of a coin. Like when you drop a coin, there's that sound that comes. It was derived by our counterparts in Asia, that is Asia Pacific, Junior Achievement Asia Pacific. So it teaches the young ones from the ages of 9 to 12 how to earn, save, spend, and donate money. And in high school, we train those young people how to start their own companies, even while they're still in school. So imagine your daughter is in senior 3, senior 2, but they are not only learning science, biology, they are learning how to start their own company. And this is really grooming our current curriculum that was recently devised and derived. And when it comes to universities, we teach them the same. How do you have entrepreneurship skills, financial literacy skills, and how do you prepare yourself for work? Some people might not be looking at the entrepreneurship path, but they want to be employable, they want to go in the work environment, and they are employable. So we train them in all those regards. We usually have moments where they compete for seed funding to help them advance their ideas and careers. So that is the organization I work with. But as an individual, I am a co-founder together with my sister. We co-found an enterprise called Dominion Creative Arts Uganda. And this was after we saw that there is a big problem of unemployment, especially our young people still in the slums. You know, when you grow up and you're seeing all these problems, you want to do something about it.
Yeah.
So our solution to unemployment is that we look out for the talented Ugandans, young people. Many of them are good dancers. Many of them know how to, contortion, do things with their bodies. And so we started this entity to provide them an employment platform. So we get them to perform on different events. They could be birthdays, weddings. So we allow them earn from their talent. And that is our contribution to solving unemployment.
And how do you manage them?
How we manage them is that we always conduct trainings and we recruit them. Those we know recruit the others that they know. Because some of these are circus performers, they are fire spitters. So we organize them. We have a training space where they come and practice for any event. And we make sure that on top of that, they learn other skills. For example, they also need to know how to manage their finances. On top of that, we take them through mental wellness sessions. We take them through other normal skills that any person really needs to have. Yes, so that is on the downside. And because of my passion for public speech, okay, I do believe that if you can speak, then you've got power. I can have an idea, but if I cannot speak about it, then it will forever remain in the dark.
It's not an idea.
It is not an idea. So I believe in the power of advancing voices. My slogan is the voice, by the way, because of how bold and how articulate I am. I call myself the voice. And that has led me to founding the organization called the Chamber of Public Speakers. I am bringing together different speakers to share their story and make sure that we groom the next generation of public speakers.
Wow. So you've mentioned about two things. If
Yes.
I'm to get things, the training, the achievers.
Yes.
And then you also have chambers of
Public speakers.
So, where can people get you?
Yes, so when it comes to Junior Achievement Uganda, we are on all social media handles, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok as well, since it's the Gen Z relatable platform. But we are on all social media handles. If you are to go to our website, just check in www.jauganda.org. That is our signature write-up, Junior Achievement. You will find us on all social media handles. With the Chamber of Public Speakers, it is in its early stages of development. And so, yeah, we will make sure to share the different social media handles, but that will be the name.
And if someone is not on social media, where can they get you?
Junior Achievement Uganda offices, we are located in Tinda, next to Bank of Africa at Rovis Apartments. So, Rovis Apartments.
Oh, this other side.
Yes.
Opposite the deaf school? The school
Yes.
of the deaf?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if someone is interested, because I know that most times we get, we've had students who have come here I remember there is a girl that who shared her story. She wants to be a leader, and one of the aspirations she wants to be is a public speaker. So are you looking out for people like that?
I am, because I had the privilege of growing up while speaking fluently. But some of these young people need guidance. And for me, the target group or people are those young ones. I want to groom them into becoming the best speakers. Right now, people approach me and they're like, I need to master my confidence. And she's like 40 years old. She's like 28 years old, which becomes very hard for them to master. I want to groom masters of the art of public speaking. And that is why I'm starting from this lower age. We're looking at those young people. Why I really want the young people is, you know that as early as now, our young kids in primary are contesting.
Yes.
Flyers everywhere.
Sweet.
You get it? So that means that as early as that, they need to have this art of communicating what they are going to do, how they are going to do it. So that's why for me, I'm focusing on the young ones upwards. There will be services for those who are already old, but I'm focusing on these young ones, because when you groom them, they become the best.
But you know that there are also people who are above 35 to about 60 who cannot speak in public.
Yes. Yes, because, yes, exactly. And at such an age, they have stage fright, they are less confident, they don't even know what to say, or they are just afraid. And for me, the best way to build a generation of confident, bold people is if we groom them from, you know how they say, emitie mito. It is very easy to instill these skills in them while they're still young. So for me, that is why the vision seems very sustainable, because we can groom it into them and they grow up becoming the best versions of themselves.
Wow, interesting. So with all this stuff that is going on around Alaso's brain and what Alaso is doing, where does Alaso see herself in 5 years? Realistically. Where do you see yourself?
In the next 5 years? That's a very broad question, given what I am into, because I'm into youth empowerment and all. I see myself...
You'll still be a youth in 5 years.
I know, right? I'll still be a youth. 5 years from now, Alaso sees herself as a member of parliament, honestly speaking.
For Kapelebiang, for Mukura.
Where would you want me? Which one do you want me to represent?
My grandparents, my grandmother on my father's side comes from Mukura, a singer. So I would love to, maybe come and support some grandchild from that side.
Okay, we will definitely talk about that, and we'll officially see all this happening. But I see myself as a member of parliament, not because everyone wants to be a member of parliament, but because there is need for some active change to be done. And that is why I'm involved in all these other things I'm doing.
So you are literally building blocks so that you come up with something that is strong enough when the time comes.
Yes, but the aim is to empower people, really. The aim is to give them an opportunity to change and transform their lives. Because young people, we have boundless potential. We can do anything. And giving them a
You have
platform.
time. The clock is still on your side.
Somehow, because how time runs.
It's there. Time runs, but
time
you
runs
see,
very fast.
when you are in your early 20s
Yes.
to about 30s, that is the time you can use.
Yes, you need to
You get
utilize
it.
the time.
But even 30s up to 40s. But anyway, sometimes
Yes.
they say it is God who decides when you can get a breakthrough. Because KFC got a breakthrough at 70.
Yes.
And the brand has stayed to date.
To date,
You see?
exactly.
So it depends.
Yes. So this is the time. That's all I can say. Any youth who is out there, this is the time you need to utilize that. We cannot rely on tomorrow because it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
What's guaranteed is today and what we do about it. So for me, all I can do is continue to give them a platform, empower them, and open their eyes to see that there is so much more they can do.
One question I want to ask you, since I have opportunity to talk to the youth, are you done with university?
Yes, I graduated last year.
Yeah, so you are still fresh. You know, like that, let me give you, since you come from Teso, that mukaro which they have just got,
Yes.
the next day, so it is cold and still has that aroma. So you are fresh.
I am
you
very-
are fresh.
I am very
You know,
fresh.
nowadays they advertise jobs and they say, a communication,
Specialist.
communication officer fresher.
Eh.
IT fresher. So you fall in the category of freshers. What message do you have for people who have just come out of university like yourself? And because I know that everyone comes with aspirations, they have already led. I remember when I came out from university, I had
Yes,
a
all the
trajectory.
hope
After
side.
this, I get a job, I get married, I get this. But you know, you come to the reality and the table start turning and you don't understand. So
Yes.
some youth are getting into drugs, others are getting mentally disturbed, others are getting depressed, others are totally lost, others, of course, have been lucky to get jobs. So what advice do you give to your fellow youth who are in your age, who are freshers out of university, since for you seem to be having already a roadmap and your trajectory seems to be a bit clear?
Yes. I think the advice I am giving is an advice they should have listened to even before they left campus. Because for me, before I even graduated, before I reached my second year, I was already plotting and planning my exit. And I knew the people I'm going to work with should be the people I'm working with now. So when you look at me working with Junior Achievement Uganda, I first worked with them when we organized a training within our university as a leader. And I went on to do my internship with them. So I was strategic from the very beginning.
Yes.
So by the time I come out, I am doing my internship with them and boom. Little you know it, I've seen your skills and what you can do.
Creating social capital.
Yes, I created all that before I left campus. So my advice to whoever is fresh is that the world we are coming in is a world of learning and we don't know it all. You need to submit yourself to a mentor, whoever you are reporting to, because those are the very people that are going to connect you to wherever you want to go. So it's all about learning. You know, there's this other thing of Gen Zs, that they are unemployable, you cannot give them a job. Attitude. They are going to be on Instagram the entire time. Now be a different kind of Gen Z. Do what you're supposed to do. Like, defy the norms of what a Gen Z is. Because when people look at a fresher, they look at someone with no experience, no skills, and you're all talk. You might be having the papers and very good performance, but can you really do the work? So for me, it's
hands-on.
Hands-on. It's definitely hands-on. I work with JA not because I have like the best papers, but because they see what you can do. They saw what I could do. And it's not about the papers. It's about what other skill do you have? What can you do? What can you do, really? So the idea here is submit and learn. Because you are entering a field in which you are naive, if I would say. So you need to learn. Look out for more ways of how do you expand your knowledge so that you are not replaceable. You are indispensable. Okay, so just be equipped, be very knowledgeable, always have the desire of learning, because once you know how to do something, they will always look out for you.
Yeah, true. Wow, interesting and very insightful messages. I would like you to tell us your last message as we close the general advice.
There is hope. That's all I can say, and we all have boundless potential. So whether you are young and you are still trying to figure things out, please don't ever think that it is too late, because there is hope even at the end of the tunnel. The Bible says that a righteous man falls down 7 times, but he still keeps on getting up. Please don't lose hope. Look at those that have gone ahead of you and before you. They've achieved great things, and you can too. So my message to you is keep going, keep moving, never give up, because giving up is not an option.
Thank you very much. I love that one, that giving up is not an option, because you see, when young people come out of university, I've been there.
Yeah.
The way you build your trajectory, my God, if every university student was just, maybe since you are dealing with young people, try to have a workshop and tell people that, write for me where you see yourself in 5 years. You will be amazed how actually people have plans, but they get frustrated on the streets. But I would like to say that, listen to her. I don't want to add anything, because she is a Gen Z. She is there, fresh from university, and messages coming from her will reach you. You will feel them better than when they come from me, who has already been in the field for quite a long time. With that said, I want to thank you again for watching Super Soul Sisters. Alaso, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Finally, after so many days of waiting, to Super Soul Sisters. And also I want to thank UBC TV team, especially our directors, for making sure that the women issues have a platform here on UBC. I want to thank the crew of Super Soul Sisters, because what you see here, there is quite a big support behind it. And that's what I always tell people, that you only watch the presenter and the guest, but you don't know that there is quite a lot happening behind me for you to be able to hear, watch, and see all this beautiful setup. So I want to thank you again, but don't forget to watch Super Soul Sisters every Wednesday, 9 p.m. I repeat on Friday, 11 a.m. And also you can get us on YouTube, still Super Soul Sisters. Get our teasers on TikTok, Super Soul Sisters for the Gen Zs. And for corporates, you can check us on Twitter. We always make sure that we put our stories there so that you enjoy. My name is Jamila Luka. Do have a lovely, lovely time. Bye-bye.